when we talk to policymakers and we hear it from policymakers, the biggest threat to the U.S. Dominance and really the U.S. economy is the growing U.S. deficit. And we're on an unsustainable path. And I think almost everybody in markets agrees. And the numbers are staggering. And there is now a very ambitious effort to try to formulate some sort of plan to contain either the growth of government spending or even cut government spending, which is DOGE. And it's led by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. This, to me, harkens back to several chapters of the Truman biography I read by David McCullough, which talks about Truman's work during World War II. And I don't know if it's as widely appreciated, but he formed a committee called the Truman Committee. And the reason it was formed was that during the early days of World War II, the U.S. government couldn't afford to spend on military spending to fund World War II, which was to support the Allies. So the U.S. was borrowing a lot of money. But what the U.S. also found was that the companies supplying the U.S. were actually either providing inferior parts, overcharging. The Truman Committee was formed, no executive powers. Truman brought in 7 senators, and the only real tool they had was public radio, where they could embarrass companies using the public airwaves. And as a result of the Truman Committee, the U.S. saved as much as $15 billion. There were numerous examples that the Truman Committee found, whether it was defective engine parts leading to planes crashing, overcharging for steel. And he is widely credited for allowing the U.S. to actually fund World War II without going bankrupt. So he was the original Doge, and he accomplished all this without any real executive powers, but just a public pulpit. Will Doge be able to achieve the same thing? I don't know. I am concerned that part of this process will be the public airing of examples of government waste, which could be very embarrassing for companies, but it could also become very divisive because it may embarrass companies. It could anger people. And I don't want to be alarmist, but look at what happened when someone got very angry at healthcare insurers, unfortunately led to the assassination of a CEO. Could something like this happen if Doge exposes a lot of government waste? I don't know. So to me, I think it's a very noble undertaking, and I think it hopefully is bipartisan. I don't know how effective it's going to be, but if it's too effective and it leads to a slowdown in government spending, it actually...
As it sets out on an ambitious voyage into the vast realm of robotics, Nvidia is making waves in the technology industry. This groundbreaking move marks a monumental shift for Nvidia as it looks to diversify and increase its development opportunities. Beyond its primary business of producing artificial intelligence chips, the company is navigating a very competitive market with formidable players like AMD and Amazon posing serious obstacles. Nvidia is daringly establishing strong partnerships and breaking new ground in the robotics industry. Nvidia is establishing itself as a physical AI investor by promoting humanoid robotics, and its astounding valuation has reached the remarkable milestone of $3 trillion, placing it in the illustrious company of industry titans like Apple, among the roiling currents of the AI revolution. There is much more to this developing story than ventures like innovative Figure AI, though, as an impending disruption in the robotics market may herald a technological revolution unlike any other. So, what implications does this have for Nvidia's stock? Let's explore that. But first, a big thank you to those of you who've stuck with us this far. Creating these videos takes significant effort and dedication, so if you're enjoying the content, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts on Nvidia stock in the comments. Your support truly helps us grow. Now, let's get back to the video.
Time, as AI becomes both physically automated and then generative and PhD level, I think it really risks replacing the benefit of human labor. There's many books, including The Coming Wave, that really talk about the risks of AI that's unbounded. And one thing I am just supposing that even in a world of, let's say, financial markets, if it was dominated by AI, in a world where more decisions are made by AI than humans, I think that you're going to end up with a lot of cheating and a lot of spoofing, because that deception is a very high return on investment activity versus being smart and identifying an inflection before anyone else does. And so I think unless there is, I would call ethical bounds on AI, I think that, it'll be easier to rob a bank than to try to make money and to earn capital. So I'm being extreme. So I think that over the next few years, I'm not sure, whether or not it's going to ultimately be good for markets. However, if I look at where companies could actually leverage AI the most, I think it's going to be in cases where you don't have productive output by employees. And I think that one easy measure is look at market value of a stock divided by the number of employees, because it's a measure of.
As competitors like AMD and tech giants like Amazon experiment with self-sufficient chip manufacture, Nvidia's foray into the robotics space is like setting the stage for a spectacular theatrical show full of drama and daring. Nvidia makes a daring detour by choosing to base its future expansion on the possibility that robotics may navigate the stock market, which frequently resembles a voyage. Nvidia's approach entails extending its technical know-how to robotics and backing humanoid robotics endeavors, as demonstrated by firms like Figure Eye, amidst the celestial dance's teeming stars and lurking threats of black holes. Alphabet's Google DeepMind is collaborating with visionaries like Aponic. There's a lot of foundation to the excitement surrounding Nvidia, so it's not just hot air. Financial experts, such as Joseph Moore of Morgan Stanley, emphasize AI-powered PCs, self-driving cars, and innovative robots as vital future revenue sources. Nvidia's prospects seem particularly bright, as evidenced by statements made by the company's vice president of robotics, who predicts that robotics will soon experience a big GPT moment, a significant technological breakthrough that might completely transform the sector, similar to what has been observed in AI. To stay informed about the latest developments from Nvidia and the ever-changing stock market, consider subscribing to our investing tutorial channel. We provide daily updates on significant market shifts and key catalysts, so hit that subscribe button to ensure you never miss crucial information. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Nvidia stock, so please share your opinions in the comments below. Now, let's dive into today's video.
Is gone. Nvidia, though, to shift gears here and look at a name that's actually moving positive in a sea of red, especially for the tech names. Actually, this is our only tech name that's currently still in green territory, modestly so. Nvidia is up 0.6%, our third best performer in the S&P 500 to close out this year. Walk us through what you're seeing here with Nvidia.
Not surprising. We've seen this trade over the last month or so when a lot of the Mag 7 names were hitting all-time highs, and Nvidia still down 10% off its all-time highs from the end of November. So it's still in correction territory at this point, but now we're seeing a little bit of pullback in a lot of those Mag 7 names, and Nvidia getting a little bit of a boost. I think one of the catalysts, and maybe why, we're seeing some unusual option activity in there on the call side in Nvidia also, is January 6th at the CES conference in Vegas that Jensen Huang is going to give a keynote address. January 6th. Mark that down in your calendars as a potential big catalyst for Nvidia. Jensen Huang's usually pretty upbeat and talking about demand for the Blackwell chip and then their Hopper chips also, which are basically.
We examine Nvidia's chart in more detail below and apply technical analysis to pinpoint important price points to look for in early January. Nvidia shares have been trading in a falling channel since hitting their record high in late November. The price has repeatedly tagged the upper and lower trend lines of the pattern. Although the move happened on weak end-of-year share turnover, the stock more recently encountered selling pressure close to the channel's top trend line and 50-day moving average, MA. When the Relative Strength Index, RSI, drops below 50, it indicates a little adverse price momentum for the stock at the beginning of 2025. As the first quarter begins, let's examine the main levels of support and resistance on Nvidia's chart that investors might be watching. The first level to keep an eye on is around $130, where the shares might find support close to a trend line that joins the December swing low and the well-known August swing high. The shares may break below the lower trend line of the declining channel and retest lower support at $115 if they close decisively below this significant technical milestone. Currently trading just below the rising 200-day MA, This position is expected to draw purchasing attention in the vicinity of a horizontal line, connecting a number of similar price points from May to October of last year. Investors should first keep an eye on the $140 region if the price moves higher than its present levels. In this area, the shares can encounter resistance close to the upper trend line of the descending channel, which also happens to be in close proximity to the stock's peak in June 2024. If you buy over this level, the shares might rise to about $150. Those who purchased the recent retracement may try to lock in profits in this region close to a sequence of price movements that are located just below the stock's all-time high. So what implications does this have for Nvidia's stock? Let's explore that. But first, a big thank you to those of you who've stuck with us this far. Creating these videos takes significant effort and dedication, so if you're enjoying the content, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts on Nvidia stock in the comments. Your support truly helps us grow. Now let's get back to the video.
Here, Jenny. So it's had a good run, even though it's off 10% from those highs that we saw. Also, some news today that ByteDance, they were going to try to buy up to $7 billion worth of Nvidia chips outside of China. Remember, there's those restrictions that these Chinese companies cannot buy the high-end Nvidia chips. So that was maybe a positive, causing the stock to go up here a little bit. But I looked at a strategy that takes advantage of capturing that CES keynote that Jensen Huang is going to deliver. I went out to the January 10th month or weekly cycle. That's about 11 days to expiration. You're going to capture that talk from Jensen Huang, where I'm going to buy something, but offset some of my costs. It's a bullish trade, but it's a vertical. I'm not buying just a straight call. I'm buying a vertical to offset some of my costs and risk on this bullish trade. January 10th, buy the 137 strike call. It's basically at the money. It's got the higher delta. It reacts more like the stock. And then against it, sell the 147 call. So a bullish $10 wide call vertical to the upside that takes advantage of a move higher. If you pay on this $10 wide bullish call vertical, you paid about a $3.80 debit. There's your risk, $380. That can expand to $10 if the stock goes above 147 over the next week and a half here. Your break even on this one where you start profiting at expiration, $140.80. That's only about 2% above the current share price. So you don't need a monster.
As Nvidia expands its ambitious plans in the field of robotics, the prospects for investment seem extremely bright, supported by robust predictive insights and a well-defined strategic vision. The remarkable 185% increase in Nvidia's stock this year speaks volumes about the company's enviable market standing and the unwavering trust placed in its ventures into robotics and artificial intelligence, with predictions indicating tremendous growth, particularly leading up to 2029. Nvidia is at the forefront of the rapidly expanding robotics sector and is poised for significant expansion. Nvidia is evolving into a living narrative of invention and strategic dynamism, transcending its status as a simple tech company. What are your thoughts on Nvidia's bold foray into robotics? Whether you're a discerning investor assessing the company's future or an avid observer of the larger narrative of technological evolution, do you think their journey toward a future where physical AI innovations predominate is convincing? Finally, if you want to know what firms like Nvidia have been doing to these past few days, click on the next video on your screen. I hope your investment is as promising and lucrative as Nvidia's exciting future. See you there.